Hello and welcome as I continue my 2.8 troop carrier build. And I'm going to open with an apology to Frontrunner. I got it wrong in the previous video. I've actually edited out that little piece. What I said was that I was actually annoyed at the time that they had supplied these bolts to fit the side rails onto my troop carrier. And I was annoyed because, well, these are going to rust. A sharp-eyed YouTuber commented, those are high tensile steel bolts. They are, in fact, a medium strength high tensile steel bolts. These are designed primarily for mounting on the top of vehicles on which a roof rack or load rails are attached. I have changed these to stainless because I don't want them to rust. My application, all of the load on shear, stainless is fine and they won't rust. But if I was to use these for their main purpose, for a roof rack, remember when you've got a roof rack, you don't have all of the load on shear like I've got it here. You've got the load like this. You've got a roof rack which is pulling, pushing, twisting, turning, pulling. You need high tensile steel bolts for that. Stainless will not be sufficient. So I highly recommend, if you are using these universal load rails for mounting a roof rack, you use the Frontrunner bolts. Right, now, cut now to several weeks ago. Standing a bit like this with the back doors of my troop carrier open at Mission 4x4, discussing with Sean some of the interior fitments and cooking systems of my troop carrier. It is 3 or so months since I last came here at Mission 4x4 and discussed with Sean an idea I had for the opening doors cooker drop-down table system. We have a date. That is a brilliant idea. And like he always does, Sean got extremely excited and decided, no, we're going to actually... I'm busy. I'm talking here. Actually create a product.
I need to get the job done, Andrew.
It's 2024. That means 40 years that I've been exploring the world's most remote places in four-wheel drives, in association with the Overland Workshop. Time now for the electrical installation. This is a little bit different to the way I've done things in the past, in that the modular interior system supplied by Klarman Automotive Solutions, where I am now, is actually being pre-wired, pre-assembled and pre-wired, and will be delivered to my home where I will do the final assembly. I'm going to show you all of the different components that make up the build and the motivation behind them. And I'm going to keep this quite brief as I describe it to you. The Egon DC hub is a central point to which everything is wired. And that simplifies things enormously, because you don't have to figure out where to put the large fuses and where to put the small fuses and where to put the secondary fuse box and the primary fuse box. Everything is here with the Egon DC hub. This is a new model. It's called the Egon DC hub Dual. This does the same job as the traditional DC hub, but permits multiple start batteries and multiple chargers. And in this case, 2 red arc DC chargers. 40 amp, 25 amp. If I was to add another battery later, or have a vehicle with double start batteries and I wanted to separate them, that's what the Egon DC hub Dual will allow me to do. Charging wise, I will have, in addition to the red arc, a Victron solar charger. While the red arc chargers can handle both solar and vehicle start battery charging, they are not good at doing it at the same time, simultaneously. Those chargers will select the highest charge current and select that. So if we're driving, if you have a solar panel on your roof, your solar panel is basically switched off. No charge current will enter the battery. But in this case, with a separate charger, I'm going to put a solar on my roof. That can charge to 30 amp, it's a 30 amp MPPT charger, 30 amps, 25 amps, 40 amps. You do the sum. Now the 40 amp charger, the reason why I have gone the 40 amp charger and not the 50 amp charger is that the 50 amp charger is not terribly good value for money. Well, let me put it another way. The 40 amp charger is fantastic value for money because actually this thing frequently reaches 42, 43 amps. So, and the 50, which I've tested, rarely ever reaches 47 amps. So for 5 amps of charge current, it's not worth it, is it? Not worth the extra amount. I don't think it is. That is the bracket ready for installation, and when ready, that will fit like that. All the cable ties fastened here, but that of course happens after this is installed in the body of the interior. If you have been following the build, I've mentioned a couple of times about dual redundancy. And again, with 2 chargers, I have redundancy. Solar charging is separate, I have more redundancy. And also with the tire pumping system that I am investigating, dual redundancy is very, very important. Some more favorite products being fitted. The Egon Relay Hub, which will allow ease of installing relays for switching high current items. I'm going to heat my water using the OzJ 10 litre. I've had that in a lot of builds. And my all-time favorite, my travel buddy. How did we live without them? And I am staying with induction cooking. I liked the combination of gas and electric cooking. 3,000 watt multi-plus inverter, Victron. But instead of going with the built-in fast charger, I have saved money by taking just a simple Victron charger. I found my use case, I didn't need to fast charge. I only charged it when the vehicle was in storage. So a slow charger will do the job just as well for me. My batteries are the Amtron 200 amp hour series. And their new ones talk to an app. I will do a separate video about the application that can be used to monitor this particular battery. It's clever new technology, and I will kind of be using it in this installation, but I am actually going to rely on most of my battery monitoring using the Victron Serbo GX. And I can see the comments now. Can you use these batteries under bonnet as a start battery? And the answer is yes, but they will never work well because that's not what they're designed for. And it doesn't matter what the battery makers and resellers will try and tell you. You can, but they won't work properly. And they'll tell you you can because they want to sell you a battery after you've had it for a short period of time and it kind of works. Why would you want to fit something that kind of works and spend a lot of money for it? It doesn't make any sense. That's not what they're designed for. They're designed for this application. I will be spending a good part of this week here, but I'm not doing the installation. Cameron is doing the installation, and I'll be sharing with you what we're doing and how we're doing it as the job progresses. And the Travel Buddy is installed. Oh, you're very dark.
Oh, thank you very much.
I am back at Mission 4x4, continuing the development of the kitchen and cooking systems in my 2.8 troop carrier. Because my idea is to have two locations for cooking. The first here, and the second here.
That's way better. Yep. That's it.
Ta-da! We need a drum roll, and a tug. Ta-da! All right, that's flush. And if I need to remove this and put it over there, I've got this thing at the bottom that you, first time I've done it, oh, you pull it down, yes?
Yeah, pull it down, yes.
Pull it down.
Pull it down and slide it back. So when you pull it down, Andrew, you apply pressure there.
Oh, okay.
And then you slide it back.
Oh, there you go, there you go, there you go.
And it comes off.
There you go. And then I can just take that and put it where I need it.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is exactly the brief I gave you.
That's it. And then it locks in.
And then it locks in.
Pin there.
Yeah, yeah. So you've developed this for me because I asked you for it.
That's right.
But this is a product that you're now offering.
Of course.
Can anybody bring their cooktop, or are you specifically offering it with the Breville one?
Unfortunately, no, because this is made particular for that model.
But you wouldn't build it for their cooktop specially?
No.
You can't have a custom built one for every single cooktop.
Exactly.
Is the point.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So if you want one, this is and there's a Breville cooktop, the second one I've owned, they're fabulous.
Yes.
Fantastic. And they're not expensive. And they're Australian.
Andrew, so this is the alternative table. So this is another table. It's different what I'm doing for you on your Troopy. So this one, you pull it down, and then it's got an extension table here that comes out, and a drop-in tray. So this tray is gonna stay here. So we're gonna rotate the edges, and then also if you don't want the tray, you can take this one off, and you can drop in a collapsible sink. When you close the table, close it here, you lock it. So the way I design it, the hinge here is actually the stopper for the table. So when you're driving, this one is not going to rattle and it's not going to come out.
The most useful, probably the most useful single item on any troop carrier build, as far as I'm concerned, is a Max Trax table. There you go. Now this one is designed for, I'm going to put in 4 Max Trax.
So this one needs to go up.
Also suitable for 2 Max Trax, or their, what do they call their?
Extreme.
The Extreme. You can also fit 4 Extreme into this one, unlike any other that I know of. My other ones couldn't fit the Extreme, and if I could fit 2 but not 4. I have a question. If I'm on my own, show me how to put them in, because I've got these in the way. Show me how to put them in.
Very easy.
When I'm on my own.
So drop this 2 down, and then pick up the Max Trax.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, 2 or 4.
Lift those.
And then normally I rest them on my chest like that. Lift those and push them in.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
And then you need to lift it up to go in place. Like it. And then you need to adjust
Lift it up a little bit. Yeah.
adjust the compression.
I can see an immediate advantage. This over the previous one that hasn't, the design has not changed in, must be 7 years since it's the original prototype. Because there's more tolerance, I use my Max Trax almost every single time I camp. If I'm on even slightly skew ground, I will just take them off, put them under the wheels and get my vehicle perfectly level. But what happens then, if it's a rainy or muddy place, you get a little bit of mud clinging to the Max Trax. If your recovery in mud, they get covered in mud. And the other Max Trax table has no latitude. You have to put them in clean, otherwise they don't fit, or I struggle to get them to fit. Here I can see immediately there's huge latitude. This is going to be an easier Max Trax table to use, general purpose use, than ones that I've had on my vehicles before. Now, the kitchen box that I built at my home, based on one of Sean's kitchen box units that fits in here, will complement the gull wing we're now going to fit. And the idea basically is that here is my fridge, here is a kitchen table. Normally I would have had the previous build, my Max Trax table here. It's just a table. But Sean has another product now being adapted to fit on these rails. So I'm going to have a kitchen table here. I've got access here to all my water, all right, and of course, fridge being here, it's an outside working kitchen. And one of the reasons why I have chosen Sean's pop-up here is that there is no drilling required. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all works.
Okay, so we're going to install the going window. Yep, bring it in. Perfect. Andrew?
Yeah.
This side, hold the middle. Basically, it comes with a bracket and all clamp system. So this bracket, they clamp into the body of the Troopy and through the bolts, and you got enough compression and you bolt it on. All right, Andrew, so we're doing this one here.
Yeah.
You happy how it's sitting?
Flush, yes.
All right, so hold this bolt and the first one. And
Which one? This one down here?
Yep, and then the other one as well.
I've decided that because now the gull wing is in, fitting the box is so easy, I'm going to do it myself in my own workshop, because I want to tweak it now and get it just right before I fit it. One of the best parts about building any vehicle for me is to get it looking right, and as you probably know, I often go for a wrap, change its color, but this time I'm not, and that's why I'm coming to Neato Graphics. Not that they can't do a full body wrap, but I've decided to do something a little simpler, but in some ways more complicated. So Ricky here has done some mock-ups. I sent him my ideas and he said, no, we can do better than that. And what have you got? Because I'm not doing just a color change, I've asked them to help me with a design. One of the problems, I get a huge amount of reflections, even worse than the old bonnet. We would have to, I think so. Yes, I agree with you.
Sorry, now let me actually read it.
Okay. Yes.
Then I definitely reckon we'll go all the way around.
All the way around. Can you take your wrap underneath here to hide this?
That well
I want to hide that.
Yeah, definitely.
Bonnet. Bonnet on this car is a problem. If I look at it from a distance and I imagine it, it's going to look better with the low parts black and the high parts white.
Yeah, I do agree.
You're right. It is going to look better that way.
I think it just feels more natural.
Exactly. When we put the wrap on the high bits, it looks like we've added something to the high bits. Whereas if you take the low bits with using the natural curve of the bonnets, it's not as if you've stuck something there. It's just natural. It's
following the natural lines of the car.
Yeah.
Where on the hybrids we have to create a new line.
You know, every time I've done one of these, it's a hold your breath time. Car comes out, and so far I've never got it wrong.
Okay.
But there's always a risk. I know that there's always a risk. In the next video, I will reveal the wrap and of course continue our electrical and cooking installations. If you like my videos, please click the like button. See you next time.